Hi there! My name is Alyssa Sudmeyer, and I am a graduate of Northern Arizona University with a major in visual communication with an emphasis in motion design and a minor in sociology. My goal for the future is to work on 2D hand-drawn animation professionally and/or work on website design, as that is something I grew to love throughout my college experience. This is a summation of most of the work I have done to improve as an animator and graphic designer over many years, and I believe this is truly showcasing a lot of what I am proud of in a short 1-minute demo reel. Quiet! The first piece shown in this demo reel is a logo for a future online animation and sketch comedy company I hope to run one day called Downward Spiral. It was done entirely by hand through 2D frame-by-frame layer animation in Adobe Photoshop. Each color in the logo represents a color for one of the 4 heads of the company, me and 3 of my close friends. I drew the spiral first, and then gradually erased parts of it and added the arrows to the end each time to create the effect of it swirling onto the screen. Following the basic corkboard drawing of nearly every project I've worked on is another logo animation, this time for my own art business, AlinkssaArt. This was done again through 2D frame-by-frame layer animation, but this time I worked in a program I personally love doing hand-drawn animation in, Rough Animator. I designed the background to be whimsically abstract watercolor in one of my favorite colors, purple, with the main text being my other favorite color, orange. The Link in AlinkssaArt is my own hand-drawn version of the Legend of Zelda font and colored the green of Link's outfit to stand out and showcase that the name comes from my love for the game series. I designed the paintbrush going through the A to represent the idea of drawing out my own brand name and referencing the way the sword slices through the text in the logo animation for the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword title, the first LOZ game I ever played. My self-portrait of me walking goofily down the hall was done to showcase something my boyfriend always laughs at, how I walk when I'm super happy and or bored. It reminds him of an Animal Crossing character's walk and was my first project done in Rough Animator. This was done using rotoscoping of a video taken of me walking outside one day. It was another frame-by-frame hand-drawn animation and was easily one of my favorites to work on as it got me used to rotoscoping and the process behind it. This is a clip of a show promo I created called Broken World that I reworked to pertain to our current world situation and struggles. I employed Procreate for this hand-drawn frame-by-frame animation and learned how to properly use a few animation cheats to get character arms to move up and down without redrawing the entire image each time, as well as having one of my first dabbles in truly animating perspectives and camera movements. Although not done for commission from Firefly Music Festival themselves, I wanted to mess around with creating a promo for them as I really took to their casting lineup from years prior and their adorable Firefly logo. This was an intense dabble in not only logo animation and making a bug move around the screen as naturally as possible, but I also did some stop motion work and lip syncing through 2D animation, which can be seen by watching the full project linked under my demo reel on YouTube and Vimeo or on my website. This was also done frame by frame in Procreate. This was one of the first animated shorts I ever made called Distractions. It was based on my experience trying to do work with 2 adorable fur babies around me that constantly wanted attention. It was my first attempt at frame by frame animation in Photoshop, hence why it's much choppier than the rest of my reel. But I think it serves to show not only a ton of improvement in a mere year of working with the program, between this and the Firefly promo and self-portrait, and hand-drawn animation, but also to showcase my personality in a nutshell, a quirky animal lover. One of my favorite projects to work on was this TV promo for a future animated show I hope to make one day called Lost Phoenix. It was created and conceptualized a few years ago by my boyfriend. This project was a great introduction to working with the client on what they expect, getting feedback at every step, and adjusting my style and animation options and ideas based on what the client wants and needs. This was done in Photoshop as a frame-by-frame, hand-drawn on multiple layers process, focusing on character design and conveying the personalities of the characters involved in a short video advert. Something I loved working on a few years ago was the concept of a traveling food truck that focused on selling teas that are based on gemstones. This was created during a time when the only thing that motivated my art was the show Steven Universe on Cartoon Network, and I thought the idea of creating tea flavors based around gemstones was something many people would be interested in, since collecting crystals and gems for their powers and meanings has become popular in recent years. I created this 3D mockup using a free base asset for Photoshop after creating the designs for the bottles and logos and importing them to the bases to create a realistic display of what the sugar rocks, which is sugar to sweeten teas whilst they steep, would look like from the Ethereal Gems food truck. Another 3D model for an Ethereal Gems product, This is a thermos with the food truck's logo on it with a pastel cloud background. I created the mock-up through a base asset in Photoshop and created the background effect on the thermos using a watercolor brush, blur tool, and opacity shifts in Photoshop as well. For the logo, I worked in both Photoshop and Illustrator, creating the simple shapes and outlines for the tea mug and gemstones in Illustrator using the pen tool, and then colored and exported it through Photoshop to ensure I could get it in the multiple sizes and qualities depending on what I needed. The final 3D model for an Ethereal Gems product was a box of the Fire Opal flavor of tea that could be bought from the food truck in addition to just a normal cup of tea. Again, the box is a base asset, but the design was created by me in both Illustrator and Photoshop. This 3D model, as well as the others from this project set, were an important part of my familiarization with Photoshop, as well as distortion and proportioning on products to ensure that they are properly positioned on the models to create as realistic a product example as possible without actually buying a thermos, a box, or a jar and gluing the designs on physically. The only 3D animation I included in this demo reel, this is the process of the few first basic steps in a chess game, using chess pieces I created based on Steven Universe characters. I worked with another creator named Isabel to create the full set, with her doing a set based on the villain Homeworld gems from Steven Universe and myself making the hero Earth gems. Because we split the workload, I only included my own set of chess pieces, in which I used many Cinema 4D tools I hadn't worked with before, such as the keyframe features for the animation, bools, extracting parts of the pieces, and using materials to color and shine different parts of the pieces in the model creation. The last project shown in my demo reel is a passion project of mine, exotic flavored sorbet. It's a 3D model of one of 3 flavors of a sorbet brand I created called Starlight Sorbet. Vegan sorbet that combines exotic flavor combinations that most companies in the United States do not make, and the fascination with astrology so many Americans have developed in recent years. I designed the logo font myself, as well as the sorbet cup in Illustrator, and imported them into the jar asset in Photoshop. The idea for this comes from my passion for exploring unique flavors that are popular across the world and that are not as widely available in the United States, as well as my personal fascination with constellations and the way many people identify themselves with their astrological birth signs. Thank you for taking the time to watch this background to my demo reel, and I can't wait to continue my graphic and motion design journey to wherever it takes me next.